Welcome in, everyone, to One Resource Floating, where everyone here is hot, mostly because it's 105 degrees outside. Not
It's actually
because,
the temperature here has been pretty nice the past few days.
Finally calm down.
yeah, today was
Yeah.
90, but it this weekend was like a scorcher.
Saturday and Sunday were like gorgeous.
It was very nice. But with us here today, I have this girl. What's your name?
Kayla,
And this guy in the backwards hat.
I am Ben.
This guy in the glasses.
Hey, it's Majo.
And the disembodied voice. What's your name, voice?
Nope.
Just voice. He
Yeah.
refer to him as Nope.
Just refer me as the Nope guy.
And you'll notice the fun thing is the Everfest background is not there. I have up there's like a ninja that you guys will see, and there's fire around them. So that means we're starting to talk about Uprising. Woo!
New set. Let's go.
yeah, it's awesome. It actually
It-
is incredible.
The set is actually really fun.
This set is, in my opinion, probably one of the best limited sets to come out since Wrath. Like Wrath is the pinnacle of a limited format. Uprising to me is just as good.
And
I would
dragons.
And there's
Come on.
dragons, yeah.
You know,
It's definitely a set that they
Go ahead, voice.
took a lot of risks in with introducing brand new mechanics, going back to an arcane and physical damage split in a set, and there's no rune blades, so I'm already in love with it.
Yep.
First, not rune blades since Welcome to Ring.
Yeah,
Yep.
literally the first set to not have a rune blade in forever.
And we're
Oh my
presumably
God.
gonna lose one. So woo! Cheers all around.
Woo!
An elemental.
We already lost one in
In
Blitz.
like
We're gonna
3
lose a different
days.
one. in
Oh, 3
CC.
days from recording. I don't know what day this will come out, but the 24th cannot come sooner.
Yeah. Well, if you get stuff the 24th and not the first.
Can you do at the end of this episode do like the black and white of the photos and it's like in memorial, gone and forever forgotten, and just play like some sad music?
Gone and immediately forgotten.
Yeah, gone and
Oh.
immediately forgotten.
It's like
yeah.
dust in the wind.
I was gonna say, can you play Dust in the Wind? But you definitely get taken down.
That's a copyright strike waiting to happen for that.
So
you guys still have your decks?
No, I
no,
would
I
have
took.
burned it on fire if it didn't have cards I wanted.
I was gonna say I just took mine out and like organized all the cards into stop that.
So
He's trying to be the disembodied voice haunting your house.
Majo, you played in one event, correct?
Played in one event, yeah. It was
Was-
actually my first pre-release for any game ever. I've never done one before, and it was awesome.
Wasn't it
Excellent.
exciting?
Yeah.
It is exciting.
How many players did you have there?
I think we had maybe. It really wasn't that large. Maybe there was 10 or 12. So it was
Well,
at
how many
Enchanted
rounds did you play?
4. Actually, we only
Okay.
played 3. We kind of screwed up the last round, but we just, yeah, the shot putter made a little error. He thought there was actually only 3 rounds, but it was fine. We like people had already started to unsleeve and stuff, so we couldn't really finish the 4th round. But yeah, no one cared. It was fun. It worked out. But yeah, Enchanted Blade Gaming in Denison, Ohio. So Tyler, if you're watching this, you're awesome, dude. Thank you.
That's
Yeah, it was a
awesome.
good time. It was a good time.
And Ben, you played in how many pre-release events?
I got into 2.
Got into 2. Tell us about those. What did you think?
It is a very exciting set. It's very, very fun. I ended up on Icelander in the first one just because I was wanting to play 5 just because I feel like it's easier to play, but my pool did not allow it. I drew like 10 or 12 ninja cards, so that wasn't going to happen. But I actually really enjoyed Icelander a lot more than I thought I would, and I might end up making a constructed list of her, depending on how this goes.
Gotcha. And Majo, you played Dramai, correct?
I did play Dramai. Yes, I ended up pulling 4 dragons, and
Oh,
Oh my god.
yeah, heck
That's-
yeah.
that's
And so, man, who is the one that I'm just looking through my deck right now?
what's the ability? I know.
invoke Vinsuraki.
Oh my
Vince
gosh.
Erikai?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Vinsuraki.
Rocky.
Rocky.
Invoke
The first
Mr.
thing sounded like a
Miyagi.
wrestler
Mr.
from the
Miyagi.
90s.
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, this thing is awesome. It's not like foil or anything, but yeah. Deal 6 physical damage, and then if it hits, deal 3 arcane. So I saw that, I'm like, I'm playing Dromai. Let's go.
I mean, he does only have 1 health, so he's a pretty
Yeah.
easy target. But no, it's like he's a glass cannon, so it makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, Dromai was a lot of fun. Like, really, I mean, I'm a Kano player, so I like complicated heroes, and she definitely seems like she's just weird. Like, she's going to require a lot of interesting sequencing and just little tricks and things to make her successful. And yeah, I don't know, like, as a wizard, like, Prism has been my nemesis. Looking at you.
Yeah.
You're supposed to take
Yeah.
you're supposed to take those Genesis out of your deck. But no, Dromai like just seems awesome. I think I'm gonna pick her up.
Dromai's the one that I was most excited for, but I didn't get the luck of the draw for her in the 2 limited.
I
Yeah.
love the way that she plays. It's really hard for me to see what a competitive deck for her will look like yet. I'm hoping someone figures it out.
I think it's going to be a lot of play testing. Like I have, because when I make decks on pen and paper, I'm a very old school person. I love making notes about it, and I always label them as like, this is my 1.0, this is my 1.5 with the little iterations, and I just go up. I currently have Dromai at 0. Alpha because I don't have the full set out to look at everything. But I'm excited to play test the 0. Alpha build and build it into a 1.0 build.
We've had, what, 50 iterations of Dory?
Duranthea hit 5.5, yeah. Before ProQuest. ProQuest build was 5.5, and I know, who knows, with future sets, we could easily keep going.
Oh, sure.
Kayla, you play. What did you? How many did you do? Would you? Anything? Tell me about this weekend.
2, the same as Benny Boy and the Voicey Voice. We all went to the same 2. First one I did 5. The second one I did 5. The first one I had a lot of really nice red commons, a lot of really good recursion and stuff like that. The only good card, like the only big card I pulled was I got a foil erase face, which is really nice. I will say, like, that's pretty awesome. I put it in the deck.
Great card.
And I went 3-1, losing to Ben's Icelander.
Sorry.
The second one at our store, I got Garbo luck. Didn't pull a single Majestic. I got rares and commons. And out of the rares and commons was a trash heap of a Fi deck that was not worth it. So I went 1-3 in that one. So solid 4-4 all around.
Our pulls were so bad, we both switched heroes after round 1.
Yeah. Me and Ben both, we're just sitting there and we're looking at each other and we're like, who's the worst of us?
It was a
And
race to the bottom.
It was a race to the bottom, and my one win was against Ben, so I was like, it doesn't even count. We're both just trash right now.
I did come back to go 2-2 after starting 0-2,
You
but
did
I don't know how
get
much
to
that
go
means.
back to 2-2. I just ended on a 1-3 note. I just didn't have anything. I didn't have the reds. I only had like blues, and even then it's like this is poo poo. But I had fun. I had a lot of fun with everyone. And that's really, like, I really so much enjoy this set, and I can't wait till we get to a draft at the store.
I want to draft so bad.
The draft is when it's really going to get crazy, because you're going to see some hate drafting in this set. You're going to see some people being like, no, I don't want this Dromai next to me to get this dragon. I'm Icelander, but I'm not letting them get this dragon.
Or like, oh, I'm playing Fi. Hypothermia? No, that's mine now.
That's my the Frost Hex? No, that's gonna be mine now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this set's gonna be a lot of, I don't need this Majestic. I'm taking this Majestic.
I do think that the bombs in the set are very identifiable.
I mean, there's just so many good commons. Like, they actually went like blew it out of the park with the commons, man. Like they are
Yeah, no,
amazing.
like common
Blaze
are
Headlong is my favorite card.
Blaze
It is
Headlong is incredible.
oh, it's so
Fi
good.
in commoner is gonna be nuts. Fi is just gonna be bonkers in common.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I actually got a foil of that one.
Yep.
Now that I'm
Ooh,
looking through.
Yeah.
So
I
Blaze
got a foil
Headlong.
Frightmare.
And I'm gonna tell everyone now. You're gonna notice there's not a lot of good pictures yet because the video software that I do likes certain formats. So I'm not in this set video probably gonna put everything up on screen. But Blaze Headlong, it's if you've played another red card this turn, it gets go again. It's a red, costs 0, does 4 damage.
0 for 4.
Yeah.
Insane.
Scar for
Gotta
scar.
love it. Oh,
Yeah.
God,
It's
so
an easier
good.
card for like,
Dude,
oh, I did a
yeah.
Ravenous Rabble into this, and now it also has go again. Like it's gonna be
It's not
bonkers.
even that. Like in
Does it block
limited,
3?
if you're at less health,
Blocks
you
2.
can scar red
Ah.
scar for 4 go again. Then Blaze Headlong for 4 go again.
Yeah.
And
That's-
we'll talk
that's
about it
crazy.
now. Like the weapon that people were like doo-dooing on for Fi, like the token weapon for Fi is not a joke.
Yeah.
Like it's
I was
actually
negative on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard Ben say it was not gonna be good.
I didn't like it, but
It is
it showed
so
up.
good. I love that blade. Oh, anyone
Well-
who's like, I'm gonna run Fry with Kodachis, you're wrong.
I think that opinion
You're
came.
wrong.
That opinion came more after I saw Rupture, and Rupture wasn't dependent on draconic chain links.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's
like
where I got that idea.
There's a space for Kodachis in Fi, but limited, you want draconic links. You want that Searing
Oh,
Emberblade. You want that Pitch of Blue. I played a 0-cost Chainlink 1. I did the Searing Emberblade. I can buy the Phoenix Flame from my graveyard with the floating 1 if I need to. Then I've got my third link, and then if I have a 0-cost Rupture, which does exist, I can immediately Rupture on that 4th Chainlink, and that's a nasty turn.
Yeah.
From
Oh yeah, that's what Fi wants to
one
do like
card
every
in
turn.
hand and a pitch blue. Like, that's nutty
Yeah.
to do a Rupture. You know, you've got a Rupture card in Arsenal, or you've got that 3-card hand, but yeah, that's awesome and limited.
Voice,
So-
let's cut over to you really quick because you didn't get to voice it. Sorry, I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Where, tell us about your weekend.
I did Fi and Fi, and all I saw was Icelander, and it was soul crushing. I had a mirror match against Kayla, the very first match of my pre-release weekend. It was a race. She outraced me because she had good negation at the right time.
Yeah. I like
And then
the sigil of protection on the board on the
The
perfect
glyph of
turn,
warding,
and then
yeah.
I had a red oasis in Arsenal just ready to go.
Yeah.
Oasis Respite is the secret best card in limited.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
It's a
Icelander.
steadfast for everybody, and it's also
Yeah.
potentially health gain if you time it, tech it right. Like, it's nuts. It's great.
And for Dramai, it's an Ash creation.
Yep.
Because you
You
pitch
just
your red
run
card
red.
to pay for it. Yeah.
So after losing the mirror, I only saw Icelander the rest of the day, and they stomped my face in except for one. And then the second day was again mirror match against Kayla. I took the win that time, and then saw 3 Icelanders in a row, and they all stomped my face.
I watched the Voices polls from because he also we had 10 people total, but we had 9 because the Voice was running a little bit late, and he was like, "Get started. I can come in afterwards. I don't care." He came in probably 5 minutes into round 1. I'd gotten the bye, and we were like, "Let's put Ski in and play against Kayla because she got the bye." And I was like, "Yeah." I watched him up in his packs, and I was like, "Dude, he's got this." It's like, mine is garbage compared to this. This is like a prime ninja, born and bred to be a ninja. And mine's like a street urchin they found, and they gave him a sword, and they're like, "Be a ninja today."
No lava running through his veins, huh?
No, there was no loyalty in my deck. It betrayed me a lot. Just bleep it.
Majo, you're going to say something, and then I said to cut over to the voice. Go ahead.
You guys are talking about the commons in the set, and Rake the Embers for Dromai is clutch.
Oh yeah.
Coincidentally, I didn't have any reds. I only had 2 blues. And And actually, I played one mirror match in the event, and it came down to like we almost fatigued one another. But he ended up taking it because he had 7 Aether Ashwings that just kept chipping away, and he kept taking out all my dragons. And yeah, Rake the Embers was the MVP for his
I will
deck. So.
I will say in this set, I feel like Fi is probably the easiest to build because you just attacks with go again. Cool, go in the deck.
Yeah.
Dromai, I think by far is the hardest to build because there's specific cards you just need to function. I feel like, but if you have those cards, it's really good. But if you don't have the cards, then it just feels so bad.
I may have
mean,
forced
I
it a little
feel
bit.
like you can't really have an Icelander deck without the blue support.
Yeah, if you don't get the blue, yeah, but it's a lot easier,
Yeah.
I think, to recognize that too.
Well, and
Like, if you're like-
Icelander is easier to build because, again, you literally are like, do I have non-attack blues and do I have the blues to pay for them? All right, the
Yeah.
deck will play itself. Dromai is like, did I draw the card that I needed turn 2, or do I have the answer to what they're doing now, and then I'll have an answer later? So, like, Dromai is definitely the most technical of the three. A, because she's running a new mechanic, like, go wide with allies, that's brand new. And B, like, Illusionist is a very niche class up until now. We've only seen one.
and
Yeah,
she
good
best.
point.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I will say, I did this weekend. I did 4 different release events. So I actually walked away because the 6 packs each release event, and then the prize packs. I walked away with 34 packs altogether. So I have
Jesus.
Gosh.
tons
Just do a little humble brag right now.
Uprising card. I have more than a
I
box.
mean, Kayla, if it makes you feel any better, we walked away with 24 apiece.
Yeah.
Go.
Plus 1 or 2 or 3 for
You know what I got from them?
Dookie.
No.
Big steaming
It
piles
wasn't
of
great.
Dookie.
Big
Was-
piles of Dragon Dookie because there were no
Your
dragons.
your name is not Tan, so you didn't get
Ooh.
anything special.
Ooh.
The wizard PJs.
Yeah.
I got
No.
the Cold Foil Starry PJs, and that's my highlight of the whole weekend.
I got a cold foil Ash.
I did get one of those.
Cool.
The PJ.
You got a Marvel.
The legendary was funny that I got that on a day that I did not play Icelander. I played Icelander twice and Fi twice, and I really wanted to play Dromai this weekend, but the first day I really didn't have. It was funny that I sat down, I pulled 1 M, and that was hypothermia, and
Oh, that's such a good one though.
but they can't gain go again. If they have go again naturally,
A lot of Fi's cards
Yeah,
do
but
say
all
they're
of
like,
his, like, if this is the second it gains go, like, the
Yeah.
Ember Blade can't
Yeah.
gain go again.
no.
Yeah. Just because it's on the card doesn't mean it naturally has it.
No.
Like the only thing he has with natural go again's like Brand with Cinder Claw.
Brand of Cinderclaw, Raging Onslaught, or Rising Onslaught.
There's the
Ronin,
one for 4
Renegade.
go again.
The,
But I can't
sorry,
remember
Yeah,
it's
there's
called.
a few, but like even Scar for Scar won't work. Doesn't matter if
That's
you're lower
true.
health, you can't gain it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So at the event I went to at the Enchanted Blade, showed up. It was $30 entry. He handed us. He let us pick between Dragon Shield Red Matte or blue, and I ended up picking the blue. But I just happened to have that. Hooked us up with a pack of sleeves. He ordered fajitas. Got 6 packs just for showing up, just to open, and then obviously we got our 6 packs to play a sealed deck with, and then I went 1 and 2, so I ended up just getting 2 packs at the end. But yeah, man, it was a great time.
That
It
sounds
sounds like
awesome.
your
Shoot.
LGF was really going in on this, trying to make this a good event, and that's I love to see that. Love to hear that.
What do
Yeah.
you
I'll make the
mean
drive next time. Shoot.
people who come and hang out with me at my store aren't getting a good event? You mean me
Maybe if you gave me better cards.
whining in the corner that I didn't get a majestic isn't fun?
Do you feel personally attacked? Do you feel called out?
I feel personally attacked on behalf of my store.
Can we do like a knife / animation in front of old Kayla over there? She's just being stabbed in the back by the rest of us.
Now,
Just
Oh, dear.
animate a knife being stabbed in my back.
just
So, none of mine were really that, didn't give us that. There was so one of the places I attended in Mankato, Minnesota, Atlanta Hobby, he is nice enough. Usually he does a ton of draws and gives stuff out of his personal stash. He had a ton of play mats up that he raffled off. And he's been all around a good guy, but I definitely say that I didn't get fajitas ordered.
Yeah.
The bar just got set this high, so
I mean, a lot of the gang had part of my birthday cake, so
There we
that's
go.
fair.
there's that.
Before your birthday.
Before, well,
I was
it
so
just so
caffeinated
happened that the
yesterday.
best weekend to have like the gang festivities and all the fun stuff was on the same weekend as pre-release, which is pretty dope, I will say. Like it was my friends are really awesome and went above and beyond. Anna made me a Dorinthia birthday cake with an actual Dawn Blade handle, and it was amazing. But
It's also
I
delicious.
love my birthday cake. So everyone got birthday cake during pre-release, so that's something.
Yeah,
It was nice.
That was
Yeah,
sweet.
It was red velvet. It's awesome.
Delicious. It's chocolate, but it's lying to you, so you feel less bad about it.
I think my first one, there was definitely the first pre-release I went to. I'm sorry, I'm bringing it back. There was, I'm going to say, I know that it was the cap of 60. I don't remember how many people were there, but I can't
Wait,
remember.
this pre-release?
So the first one I did.
This past
This
weekend, we
weekend?
capped
Yeah.
it at 6.
Yeah. Yeah. They got
A lot of
the
people.
support for that.
Wow.
The one in Mankato, that one only went to 16. The next two were 16. So 3 at 16. The one's capped at 60. I don't think they got 60 people. But
If they did,
yeah.
I mean, you would need
It's a long day.
2 cases to provide packs just for playability.
That was also the event that the guy across
You
from
need
me
more than
got
that.
5 M's in his pack. So I'm guessing they just went through and like pack. And
Oh,
laid them
dude,
out
that's
and
not
stacked them.
okay.
yeah,
I don't know.
That's
I don't know.
why.
I don't know how
that's
it's actually
why-
done.
That's
Yeah,
why
fair.
we shuffle and then cut, because it's fair.
I don't actually
Yeah.
know how they arranged them. They probably did it whatever way.
Yeah, at the event I went to, he did the wheel, and then as soon as your name was picked, you went up. There was 3 boxes. Some people took all 6 packs from one box. Some people, like myself, I did 111, 111. You know, but we all kind of went up when our name was randomly selected. So
But I feel like because, I mean, I know this personally from Digimon. They always put the alternate arts and like the super rare cards on the left side.
I did not know that.
If Flesh and Blood ever had anything like that, that's just people stacking the odds.
So now when I play Digimon, I always go for the left side. Oh, I want
Seriously?
You and a friend are like, let's split a box of Digimon, and they don't know any better. Be like, I'll take the left half.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. I'm pretty sure there's an actual post out there saying like left side's it. And our buddy Greg, he told me that Dragon Ball Super, like, they have it mapped to which pack in the box has the stuff.
Interesting.
You
So-
know, one thing that is interesting, I'm sorry, is
Yeah.
I think that, there's all this stuff. Flesh and Blood is probably one of the, I'm going to bring it up. I know you don't want me to bring it up. I'm bringing it up anyway. Flesh and Blood is one of the only games that doesn't do a pre-release kit. So they
Let's talk about that.
Great idea.
I don't want to talk about other things, but I do think that in the natural evolution of a TCG, I believe pre-release kits are the next best thing for them to do. And it doesn't have to be this year. It doesn't have to be in 5 years. I just think that from the standpoint of this, having a small box that also doubles as a deck box, getting 6 random assorted packs in it with like a stamped promo, which the stamp, like how they did Helios Miter. Imagine for Uprising, you got a little box, it's a deck box, it comes with 6 packs, and you get a cool Helios Miter in there as a promo. It's awesome. It's all in one little thing. And you can fit like 16 of those in one giant case instead of like a case of 4 booster boxes. I think that is a great step forward as the TCG itself. It encourages a lot of people to go out to pre-release because you get these cool promos and stuff like that. And burn me at the
It's simple.
stake if I'm wrong. Whatever.
I love the idea.
Well, I mean, you're obviously not wrong because these exist. You know,
Yeah.
you're not recreating the wheel here, Kayla. Like Magic has been doing this since I don't quote me on this, but I want to say like the late 2000s. Like they've been doing pre-release kits for a while, and
it works. I mean, it's so cool because like when we do pre-releases for Magic, we sell the little boxes all day long, and then we usually hold 30
a
for the event
reasonable
that
quantity
night.
for the event.
We usually hold like 30 to 40 boxes for the event that night for people to play in, and people can just drop in and be like, hey, I want to pick up this pre-release box, and we're like, cool, it's $25, and you get everything inside it, including the promos. And they typically, inside the boxes, and this is for Magic, have a little guide on how to help you build your deck and the rules of the game. And if you want to get people into trying Flesh and Blood, and pre-releases being a good like limited format because everyone starts on the same sort of ground level, that is awesome. As opposed to just giving them 6 packs and being like,
Good
head on
luck.
your way now. Well,
Yeah.
deck building is 30 minutes long.
Like the only downside from the pre-release kit is the logistics for the company to develop them and introduce them, ship them. Sure. They are a young TCG. This is the kind of thing that once you get to economies of scale, it's not an issue. So I could see this being something that they absolutely might want to do, but they might have that barrier of just the reality of how do we, you know, who do we source to make the little box? Who do we source to make the little pamphlet insert?
Yeah.
Because some of that has to be, you know, dealt with. It can't just magically appear in the box.
Yeah, and it's like logistically, right now, it is extremely expensive to ship and create product and get it to places. So I would not say, Legend Stories, put all your money into making these pre-release boxes before the next set drops. I want them to evolve and grow. And in my opinion, I just think pre-release kits would be a good evolutionary step for the TCG in itself.
I'll say this though, I'd rather see a pre-release kit than another Classic Battles.
Honestly the same.
We'll talk about that later.
I do think, interestingly though, that Classic Battles could be, I mean, that it MSRP's for what, $50?
Something like that.
$49.99 is the listed MSRP.
And there's 80 cards in it.
It's a bit steep.
Plus the pamphlet, the
80,
paper.
It's about 92 because of equipment.
80 plus 4 for heroes and weapons plus 8. So yeah, 92 cards that you play.
Yeah.
With a small paper insert for layout, and then the booklet with lore. Which, by the way, I love it. I read the entire booklet. I loved it so much. I loved the lore it gave me. And maybe with the pre-release kits, if they move away from Classic Battles, you can put a booklet of lore in there.
You know, tell me about how did Icelander run into Volcar? How did Fi become the leader of the
Tell me a little bit about Dramite. Tell me a little bit about Fi and my nice little booklet that I get in my pre-release kit with a little promo. It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, even Pokemon does it. Their build and battle boxes are pre-release boxes.
Yeah.
So, to make a steel deck for a pre-release, you need 6 packs, right? And there's what, 16 cards in the pack?
Yep.
So that's 96 cards. I think to the Voice's point, like there's just no, I think the manufacturing process would have to significantly improve for that pre-release kit to not also be $50, like Classic Battles, you know. So I have a lot of hope though. I mean, like when you watch interviews with James White, like the guy is just visionary.
The only thing I'll counter, Majo, is that pre-release kits are running the same cards that are going into the launch. Classic Battles was new cards, new art, new concept.
A lot of guaranteed things.
Yeah. So different manufacturing process. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, because I mean, when you look at like Commander decks from Magic, they MSRP for $39.99 or more for a single deck.
It used to be
And
less.
It used to be less, but Magic has upped the price of their products by 11%. They put it on their website.
It also
I can talk about it
used to
because
be
it's all
more
actual
sometimes.
knowledge.
'Cause those
Also,
decks were good.
Magic doesn't even have an MSRP. They got rid of MSRPs in like 2014, so they
Yeah,
don't
the
care what
market
people
decides
price
the
their
price.
stuff
That
at.
is true
And
capitalist.
that's just public knowledge. But you can get cards in the commander decks that you don't get in the actual playable set.
Yep.
But
Commander
no one says anything if a commander deck's $39.99 for getting 100 cards when I could spend $100 and get 360 cards.
I think
Yeah.
that if we want to talk about classic battles, I think what was made was very good. But if you in the future want to make a 2-player game that was very at an affordable price point for what's in the kit right now, I think MSRP of 30 to 35 would be good.
I actually, and we will get back on topic, I swear. This will be the last thing I say about it. I had a couple come in and they were asking me about Flesh and Blood, and my heart beamed at the possibility of 2 new people coming and playing at our store. And they're like, what's this Classic Battles? And I was like, well, it's actually designed for introducing new players to the game. And they like looked at it, they looked at the packaging, like, this is really cool, we really like this. How much is it? $47.99 at our store. And that immediately chased them away.
But you could offer them 2 Blitz
Yeah.
decks at half the price.
Like $40 is the sweet spot for like entry, because like in a sense that's like, oh, it's $20 a person.
Mm-hmm.
When like marquee level board games that are 2 to 4 players, that there is kind of this like $30 to $40 range that those games really try and land in. If you're going to try and introduce a brand new, if you're going to take risk as a consumer, right, you have to value that. And most people, a $20 price tag is kind of the limit of like, oh, I'll take a chance on this.
You know
That
what's
$8,
wild?
$9
But
is just too much.
let's talk about Uprising.
Yeah.
Well, Majo, what you got?
We'll keep on the tangent. Let's go back to
You might as well say it. We can just finish out here. If it's not worth it,
Yeah.
I'll cut all
I was
this
just
out.
gonna say like just can you imagine being in the shoes of LSS? Like they've just exploded. They probably have so many things they want to do, so many processes they want to improve, like so much capital that's just yet to be invested to improve, and like it's just I have a ton of faith that they will. And like James White's over here doing interviews with like any old content creator who asks him, and I just watched his interview with the Instant Speed podcast, and he actually fully acknowledges that there were a lot of opportunities and some issues with classic battles, and it's just like that transparency and that they're still such a small company. Like I don't know. I think it's just all up and up from here.
Yeah.
I feel like
And
in just in the last 11 months, the popularity has grown exponentially while the backing behind it has tried to keep up, and it's been probably hard, but
Yeah.
they'll get there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I personally, like, I love this card game so much. I love the people I've met through it. I love playing it, and I love the stuff they put out. I love Uprising. I really do. I was bummed, like, before the pre-release, and they said it got delayed, I was like, that's okay, I can wait next week. But then I played the game and the cards, and I was like, I don't want to wait until the first to get these boxes. Like, I want to play this as soon as possible. Like, I love it. And I cannot wait to see what they're going to do. Like, I am full on, like, ride and die with Flesh and Blood. Like, put me in that sidecar, I'm rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's going to be hiccups. And yeah, they may make products people don't like, and they may make products people drool over. And I'm going to be there every step of the way, because I love it.
Yeah, and Ben was there with maybe me at the New Jersey event, and James White acknowledged a lot of what we're saying. Like, he went up there and he's like, I am a gamer, I love this, I'm here to like get your feedback. That's why I wanted to be here at this event, that's why I wanted to like meet you people and hear your stories. And like, I had the opportunity to like have a conversation with him like offline and just chat for like 2-3 minutes, and just the reality of like, this is the CEO of the company that I have invested thousands of dollars in, just casually talking to me. Like, that's a big deal. And
Yeah.
like, it does show that, like Ben was saying, is that like they've been trying, they've been actively getting stuff from their content creators, from their community, from Reddit, from Twitter, and like, you know that they're not doing nothing. So I am excited. Like, Uprising is the first step into what is, I mean, it's Fab 2.0. It's
Yeah, it's the
literally
first
the
step.
beginning of Fab 2.0. So they've verbally and like physically been like, okay, we're not done evolving this product. Here's where
Yeah.
we start. Here's the next step. Um, and so yeah, like we mentioned, you know, classic battles might be an ongoing thing. That's great. Pre-release kits. Heck yeah, let's go to Fab 2.5 and get some pre-release kits. You know, let's make this a Kayla Dorinthia deck where there's like 2.6, 2.9, 3.0, 3.5. Like, I'm in for it.
We're going the
Uh,
points.
So I do see that the popularity of the game is outpacing just the reality of how fast a business can grow and not implode on itself. So in a
Yes.
sense, I applaud LSS for not overstretching their margin, like not
But
overreaching.
being a company that started right when a pandemic started to hit everyone in full swing, and they survived
Yeah,
through that, shows just how dedicated they are to make this a TCG for the people. And I mean, that's why it's called Flesh and Blood. You play in person. You are
Yeah.
fighting against other people, and it's a
Whole
great
mantra.
thing. Yeah. Like, it is fantastic, and I cannot wait to see them evolve as a TCG and as a brand.
Amen.
So
to
Uprising
that.
pre-release is cool.
I was gonna say let's start with Dramai. So I'm curious what your guys' thoughts were on Dramai. Majo, you said you played her, so
I did.
let's talk. Let's go to you first. What are your thoughts on Dramai?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's really interesting, really tricky, I would say as well. You know, I had four big dragons in my deck so my strategy was, all right, I'm gonna try to play some like mid-rangey stuff until I can get my dragons out, and then hopefully just be able to overwhelm my opponent. But it was harder than, you know, obviously easier said than done. But yeah, I really, it's interesting because you have to be very specific with your sequencing, right? You're like, okay, I not only have to play a red card this turn, but I also ideally have to pitch a red card to get my ash. And obviously that's the most inefficient thing you can do in Flesh and Blood is pitch a red card. So it's just like really interesting. But no, she was a lot of fun. Like, I can't wait to play her in Constructed. You know, I can't wait for my boxes to arrive and just dig in. You know, the concept of dragons at first to me was like, okay, that's cool. You know, dragons are obviously awesome, but like actually getting to summon them, and you know, I don't know what you guys did if you played her, but I actually just sort of had the invocation and I literally flipped it, you know, and kind of did that and then just slammed it down. I know like they have this thing, right? I didn't use
checklist
that.
card.
It was just kind of awkward. I didn't use this. So this was a cool reference, but yeah, I just flipped it as I played, and maybe I'll eventually kind of get those penny sleeves to put the dragons in. But yeah,
Just
it
get
was
the
super cool,
clear,
man. Yeah, the
exact
clear
fit
one.
interface.
I
Exactly.
feel like
I
Yeah.
she's
may or
gonna
may
be
not be a crazy person with thousands of them.
Yeah. But she
Yeah,
was
I
super
think
fun.
such a
my plan
complex
for
hero.
her is to be have one dragon as like a token. Like, I'll obviously have the invokes in the deck, but when I play the invoke, I'm just gonna pull the actual like faced card and
Hmm.
put it there and be like, here he is.
Yeah.
And then when it's destroyed, I'll take the actual card from the deck and put it in the graveyard, because that way it's like I don't have to do the
Yeah.
flip and the
Oh.
sit down, flip it, and reverse it.
I want to play
Well,
Drumai so I can specifically have a deck entirely made of marvels.
Yeah, man.
No one laughed at my reference.
I heard
Missy
that Gwen
Elliott?
Stefani.
Yeah, the Missy Elliott.
Yeah, gosh,
Thank
wow.
you. Thanks,
Um,
guys.
I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
Miss Murphy's infinite. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was
There you go,
that's
Kayla.
it.
Thank you.
So just one more comment, and then I'll pass it over to you guys. So this is the first hero I've ever played where like I'm like, holy crap, this board state is out of control. Like 86, I know how you feel now when you play Dash. You're like, pistol, you know, what item, pistol, reload. It's like like, because I play Kano, I play Katsu now and again, and then I'm building a Reinhardt deck, and it's like, for the first time I like have all this stuff to do, and I was like, I feel like I'm playing Magic here. Like I got these creatures, like
Jeremiah is the
my
best
dragon.
Magic player.
Anyway, it was awesome.
She's the actual planeswalker in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it was awesome.
Ben, what are your thoughts on Jeremiah?
I think she's going to be very complicated to build. I really can't predict how she's going to look competitively, but I'm really excited for it because I love the way she plays. It's so fun to explore. I really need to see something come together because it's hard to look at your hand and knowing what's the best thing to do on any given turn. Like what are you willing to block with? What are you willing to build? Like I play Prism, so I know to build a board state. But when you're using reds to do that, you lose a lot of. Like if you play into ice, it's gonna be hard.
Well, I mean, you're not building a deck of all reds.
No, of
Like,
course not.
I think
But you do need to be red heavy.
Balance of it. You do have to be red heavy, but I think that's where the fun in it comes from, and like how you're gonna build it.
Oh sure.
So there's a few cards that I've been thinking about since like looking at Dromai and actually looking at a few people play Dromai. Any 1 cost defense reaction and 1 cost instant is pretty much an auto include. So like Art of War,
that's fair.
Even Tome of Findall, anything that you can off turn create an ash and get a benefit or get a mitigation or get a disruption from, she wants. She absolutely wants that. So like the Oasis Respite from this set is literally gold in red and yellow for her. Like you'd run the reds and the yellows and not the blues because you want to use them, not pitch them. She very much is a hero of like every card if it is a block/pitch or a function card. Like you have to be very deliberate in your construction with those 2 cards and making sure they do not overlap, except for in rare cases. Because like other decks, like Dorinthia, for example, there's a bunch of cards in the Dorinthia deck like, I don't need this now, I'll pitch it. I'll use it later. But like she specifically is like, ooh, I can't afford to pitch this card right now because it's going to be too long before I see it later, so I have to use it now. And maintaining that board state that Maggio said is the biggest thing. Like knowing everything I put onto this board presents the opportunity to lose it. So is it the right time? Did I draw it at the right moment? Do I have the right support for it? So cards that are useful now may not be useful later, and you may not be able to pitch them away to like cycle back. And so that is going to make her a very unique hero, and I think, as Ben said, like it's going to take some time for her to settle into the meta and see what she evolves into.
I love her.
There just isn't support in just illusionist cards to just do a beatdown Dromai with like 1 or 2 big stompy dragons and then just all the crazy illusionist stuff. Like it could be possible, but at that point just play Prism and have Luminaris and Heralds and like until she goes Living Legend. But point being, I think Dromai is going to have to be this hybrid of like beat stick plus board state.
Yeah. I'm for one, I'm just so excited. I am so excited to fully like put her cards into sleeves, look at them, figure out how I'm going to play them in a deck, or just look at them because I am smitten with her and her dragons.
There is also, she feels like why are Runeblades so powerful? Immediate response from LSS. Like she should, when built correctly, decimate Runeblades.
Yeah.
Because Runeblades have some Phantasm Poppers, not a ton. They usually want to use them.
On that note, Mr. Voice, I was just about to show this card, and I love the fact that LSS printed this flex, right?
Flex is amazing.
Yeah, 0
In
for
red,
4.
especially.
Yeah, 0 for 4. When you attack or defend with it, specifically defend with it, you can pay 2, and then it gets +2 power. So like, it's a popper. So, that's going to be probably something that your Briars are going to start sideboarding in and just sort of be ready for the Dromai.
Oh yeah. It's
Ooh, I
just a
never
two
thought
cost
about that.
defense
I mean,
reaction
it's
at
not
that
only
point.
that, but if Dramai wanted to do it, because it's cost 0, isn't it?
It's a
Yeah.
zero.
Normal
Yeah.
attack
It's a
is cost
0
0.
cost, and if I wanted to with Dramai, play it from Arsenal and pitch 4 reds from hand and bump its attack value, I've got 4 ashes now and a super big attack.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Some of my favorite stuff, like How to Train Your Dragon, is one of my all-time favorite animated movies. I love it so much, and I'm such a huge fan of the Game of Thrones books, especially Daenerys Targaryen, and I just get such Daenerys Targaryen vibes from this set, and I'm just so excited. My cat's eating a hair.
That's what happens when she's excited.
Immediate derailment.
Voice, did you have anything? I do. You said some stuff on Dramai. Did you have anything else on Dramai you wanted to add?
I mean, other than like the rune blade hard counter that she feels like, it's obvious that she's going to struggle against go wide heroes, especially action point based heroes like Lexi and Dash and other people that are less prone to disruption because she doesn't have much in the way of disruption. She really just has the board state. But some of those dragons do have like on death effects, and it can get a little weird.
Yeah.
But
I think
I
it's
am very
in the
excited
same
to see
realm
how.
of Prism, where Prism's just like, I've got these auras, but if you take out Prism's auras, she doesn't have a combatant system.
It is a race against Prism on like, do you tank to the face and let the board state build, or do you like slow down and manage the board state against a Prism? Dromai is a little easier because there's no Spectra, or there's going to be less Spectra.
Yeah.
So you won't have to be like, I mean, I could attack them for 4, but then like my bigger attack is going to go into the Spectra because the way sequencing works. So it's not as punishing in going into Dromai when you go wide because you're not closing the combat chain. You're not losing all this momentum.
True, but in hindsight, if she has 4 dragons out and you attack 3 of my dragons and attack me once, what damage did you actually do to me that turn?
Right, and you have to, as the player sitting across from Dromai, you have to do that math on like, okay, this dragon has 2 health, but the effect that they have on the board costs me like 8 health, so it's absolutely worth sending a 4 health attack, or 4 damage attack at this 2 health dragon. That's the kind of like mental gymnastics we're gonna have to start doing against Dromais, which again, I think it's exciting. That shifts the meta, that forces players to have these contingencies that make less, Cheerio Briar might be very different now because they have to contend with like 9 dragons on the board, and if they're just trying to beat face, 9 dragons are going to outrace Cheerio Briar.
Yeah. Your channel mount snatch doesn't hurt my dragon with 1 health.
It lets you draw a card, but woo.
It lets you draw a card because what? I got 6 other dragons.
So, Kayla, did you have any other Dramai stuff that you wanted to share that you saw this weekend?
I didn't. I really wanted to play her, but in the first sealed, I pulled 1 dragon. And then in the second sealed, I didn't pull any of like the red cards that are hers, like Sweeping Blow, Rake the Ashes, and Billowing Mirage. Like those are the 3 key staples for her, and I didn't pull any of those.
Exactly.
So-
I think you need very specific cards to play in limited.
Yeah, so without just those key red staples to fuel the turns, I was like, I can't do it. But boy howdy, I am going to build her in CC, and I'm gonna make people recognize her.
So I did 4 events. I'm gonna cut away. Sorry, finish it up.
Again.
I have 34 packs for the weekend. Three of the
Another 100
dragons. 3 of the dragons of the 5 I've got out of 34 packs. 3 of them were in prize support packs, so that means I have, over the weekend, I got 2 dragons, and I just had these. I think Gloria was one of the dragons I got out of the main deck. I forget which other one. No, I just draw Necria. Never mind. Anyway, I have 5 dragons, so I literally had no chance of ever. I didn't feel like I was ever comfortable playing Dramai. Playing against Dramai, as Icelander felt like a nightmare because I didn't have
Oh,
any
it's
cards
horrible.
to attack
It's
the ally.
Icelander's worst matchup
Yeah.
by far.
It's so bad.
Because Icelander doesn't have that go wide.
Mhm.
They have like, I'm gonna do 2 actions, 1 to 2 actions a turn, literally every turn, yours and mine. That's not gonna wipe away a board state.
If
You know,
Waning Moon
we
could
end
target
this-
dragons, it'd be a different thing.
Yeah, and Waning Moon can't even target dragons. It's target hero. So you couldn't even, like, if say you wanted to play, like I think it's like Ice Bolt from Arsenal and hit the hero and then moon a dragon for 3. You can't. You have to bolt a dragon and moon the person. And it's like, cool, 3 damage is whatever.
Majo, what were you saying?
It pains me to hear that the abusive cycle of illusionist on wizard violence is going to continue.
Yes, it will.
I mean, it's also just like Aether Ashwings being Arcane Barrier 1 is.
It's a slap to the face.
Yeah.
I sat
It's
down
like-
and I was
You're gonna
like,
see a lot of
this
wizards
Dramai
running
has
like Scar for Scars and stuff, and just other dumb texts that are like, all right, well, this is a 1-cost attack just to go after this frickin' dragon with Go Again.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
literally would go up against the
they're like,
Dramai
"This poor Arcane,"
and
they're like, I'm gonna make 4 dragons and then block it all.
I'd go against the Dramai and I'd be like, there's no arcane barrier. I've got this. And then it'd be like, now I have 4 AB at the end of turn 1. And I'd be like, okay.
Oh no.
Turn 2,
God.
now I have 7.
It was a calculated risk, but man, am I bad at math.
Man, am I bad at math?
Yeah, if you don't, as a wizard, if you don't have Singe against Dramai, you're just done.
You need
Now,
Singe,
do
it's
they
the most
count
important.
as auras or just token allies?
They are token,
Token
allies.
allies?
So you
I-
can't scour them.
You
Nope.
can't scour them, no.
Singe
But
is
you
the
can give
one
them a bunch
that,
of frostbite tokens, which are auras, and then scour those
Yes.
and or hex them.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You hex them, they take the damage, and then you scour them, and then they take more damage.
Yep.
So, as
So you hex the
Fi-
prism, you hex the prisms immediately, and then you scour them, and that gets rid of their shields and their frosties and hurts them. Yep. Okay. Yep.
So as Fi going against the Dramai, actually my only loss on Sunday evening was against the Dramai, and it was the Dramai did like Transmogrify and the Phoenix Flame. I was like, huh, I didn't think he put Phoenix
that's
Flame
fun.
in that deck. But I was like, it is a red, and it's just a
You put
Draconic.
them in the deck Unlimited.
Yeah, and I was like,
It's also I have played a 0-cost red, and it has Go Again, so then I can do other dumb stuff as Dromai, even if it comes
Yeah.
in for 0. I did it. I've activated my conditions.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yep.
hurt bad. And I was like, oh, you just, okay, so now it's an 8 with Phantasm Go Again. Well, that sucks. And that
I'm
happened
playing
like,
Pi. I don't have a single popper in my deck.
that happened at
The,
least once more that turn. I was like, or that game, not that turn. I was like, oh.
The person that won the one on Saturday was playing Dramai, and for 4 rounds got paired up against Icelanders. Literally their best matchup.
Oh my gosh.
He came up to me afterwards and he was like, your Fi did really well. Can I play your Fi? And I was like, yeah, you can play against my Fi. Oh, I stomped him. And he was like, if I had got paired up against you, you would have won this thing. And I was like, yeah, I would have, but you got your best freaking matchups and I didn't. So that's the name of the game.
So, other than you and I, Kayla, there was one other Fi, that one
Yeah.
guy playing Dramai, and then everyone else was Icelander.
Yeah, I played the voice round 1 of Fi, and then I played 3 Icelanders.
Same.
I didn't have the pool to play anything else. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying it's you. Like
Oh, no.
I 100. It's 100% determined on the pool, but I think it's also like. I think Icelander has a little bit more options where she has Elemental Wizard, Ice Wizard, and Ice, whereas Fi and Dramai have Draconic, their one class, and then like their generic class. So maybe, I don't know.
So,
We were talking a little before the video, and like Icelander plays herself. Like, there is one limited way to play Icelander, and that is maintain a card in arsenal the whole game, because your entire concept is not to outrace your opponent. Your entire concept as limited Icelander is play a card on their turn to turn on Waning Moon, and then pay for Waning Moon. All of remaining available cards will be used to block, except for the card you're going to put in arsenal on your turn.
Absolutely correct.
Yep.
So why don't I go in a little bit? We'll move to Icelander. I will talk first a little bit because this will give you a chance to rebuttal, because the voice and I think a lot of people and I had different Icelander experiences. When I played Icelander and when I saw other people play Icelander, I feel like Icelander against Icelander was an interesting matchup. However, against Fi and playing as Icelander against Fi, it ended up being really awkward and limited, because if you pitch a card to play a card, that's a card out of your hand and card out of your arsenal, and then you have to pitch to turn on Waning Moon. Waning Moon. Then you have 2 cards left. Are you going to keep one back to arsenal? Well, then you have a card to block, so you're not doing anything on your turn. Most likely, when I was playing as a Fi, I could push out 10 to 12 damage a turn.
Oh, people have frozen.
People have frozen.
Is it me?
I
Okay.
think it's you.
It was me.
It was just you
It was
temporarily.
me.
Deal.
But I felt like as Fi, I could push out more damage a turn than Icelander could. But I also wasn't a red heavy Fi in either case, because I drew like rainbow colors of like the brand card. I forget the name of it now. Brand with Cinderclaw. And like I had like a bunch of other cards that I didn't feel like I was starved for resources. Yes, the reds were there. I had red 0 costs. I had red 1 costs. They existed, but I never felt like, oh my gosh, this is going to be really horrible. And there were a couple of times that Icelander gave me a Frostbite, and I was like, well, that would stop my turn, but I'm going to respond to your Frostbite by destroying Sash with Cinderkai, gain a resource. So I have a resource before the Frostbite comes in, and then that stopped that.
Yeah, I never once in the 12 packs for sealed got a Sash of Cinderkai. Once.
I didn't get, well, actually, so first pre-release didn't get any. Second pre-release got 4.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, like, our Fi experiences as building Fis was incredibly different. Like, I at best had 9 blues.
Pools,
Oh no.
86. Don't talk to me about the pools. Because, I mean, it's 100% a limited set. People are going to have different experiences because people pull different cards.
But, like, to sit there and say that, like, oh, Icelander is bad into Fi is like, no, she's not. If you know how to play Icelander against Fi, you should win that matchup.
Yeah.
I would say in the limited, I didn't feel like there was ever an Icelander that could go against Fi setting that I saw on the weekend.
When I was on Icelander, I never lost to a Fi.
And I never beat an Icelander all weekend.
It just takes 2 Frostbites.
There's a person who swapped heroes before playing the voice because they knew Icelander would beat Fi.
And their rationale was like, oh, I didn't want to do the mirror. And it's like, no, you wanted to win. Just say it. I would respect you more if you just said I wanted to win.
Yeah, because
don't lie to me.
The voice sat down and he went, oh, you're playing Fi? I'm playing Icelander now. That's right, Major. That's my reaction. Just.
So, Major, did you have any Icelander experience from this weekend?
No, I played 2 Fis and the mirror. I was on Dramai. So
you would have loved Icelander.
What's that?
You would have loved an Icelander.
Icelander's off.
You would have loved facing Icelander. You'd have been like, what arcane?
Yeah.
Don't know.
I just can't help but think about constructed, and I'm like, I can't help but think ahead. Is Icelander is how important will Wildfire be to her win condition? I mean, it's just such a broken, powerful card that I don't see her winning without that.
So
in constructed,
I watched a wonderfully funny jank Icelander build from DM Armada, And he explained it as, like, he was like, obviously, you have to have the perfect setup. Like, you have to have the stars align, the gods look down upon you and say, today you're blessed. But he went on just the most bonkers tangent where an Icelander drew 14 cards, then played fire breathing for 28 damage.
Incredible.
Yep, fire breathing is an awesome card.
Fire breathing's so cool.
Wait.
And he showed it another way where it was, I think Ice Eternal is the one where it's like pitch XX, make
Yep.
that many frostbites. And he made 20 frostbites. And then played Frost Hex and dealt 20 arcane damage through Frost Hex. Plus, if it's fused, you deal arcane damage already. So you've...
So how is
It's
she
janky.
drawing the cards? Is it tome or?
I don't.
So 2 energy potions, 2 time snaps, pop them all. You play.
You lost me there.
I said there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, I would say watch the video because I watched it this morning while I was getting comic stuff ready, and I don't fully remember all of it. But there were 2 tums of Findles included, 2 tums of Aether Winds included. And then there's a health gain in there, and then it's just pitch all the blues.
Yeah, that reminds me of like being in college and playing poker, and like my buddy, he left the room for like a minute to go get a beer or whatever, and like we stacked his hand, so he had a straight flush, and he thought for sure he won, and meanwhile we stacked someone else to have a royal flush.
That's incredible. That's
Just
incredible.
trolled the hell out of him.
It's like, it's completely bonkers hands. And it's like, would that actually happen? Highly unlikely. But it's really funny to see someone go, if you did this, this, and this, you give them 20 frostbites and they take 40 damage. Nuts. And I'm like, well, that is nuts. Man.
I do want to say on Icelander Unlimited, in the mirror, after multiple play tests, the Icelander mirror is always won by the player who goes first, and I have not seen it deviate from that.
Yep.
Arsenal.
Whoever gets that first Arsenal will win the game.
Yeah, if you're an Icelander and you face another Icelander, be like, I'm gonna go first. Because
Yeah.
that other Icelander's gonna be like, why am I playing instant? Doesn't matter.
I was not the person that went first on one of my Icelander mirrors that I won. However, I drew Oasis of Respite.
Okay, see, that's the exception.
Yeah.
That makes up for it.
I had like
I
3 of them in my deck that time.
86.
I've-
Stop bragging. I understand your pulls were amazing. You got the god cards.
Those are common.
Like I played into an Icelander mirror. They went first turn, played Red Ice Bolt, followed it with Waning Mood, and then Arsenal blue card. I'm like, okay, that was a good game. Happy to play.
Yes, this is fun.
That was horrible.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's finish it up talking about the most fun I had with any hero, because I only played 2 of them. Was Fi, and
He is fun.
He is so much fun. Oh my gosh, he is so much fun.
So Fi pretty much is play your hand. It's not like, oh, I want to play these 2 cards, put this back, Arsenal. But it's like, yeah, I'm gonna play your hand.
You will play your hand every single turn.
Yeah.
And I remember there even being matches like I would go up. There was one match I did that was like, okay, I was like, I'm going first. I had 4 cards in hand. I was like, attack, 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 instant, bring back the Phoenix Flame. I was like, okay, he's either gonna take one from the Phoenix Flame, at which point I had another card I could do 5 damage to him, or he's gonna take the Phoenix Flame and I'm gonna arsenal the card. I'm like, okay, Phoenix Flame. He blocked it. So I'm like, okay, here's 5 more damage. And he's like, oh crap. So on turn 1, I was already like, I was 5 damage positive.
Because Lava Burst is my favorite card.
No, it was a Scar for Scar, I think.
That's
Yeah,
4 damage.
4
You've
damage.
done your math wrong.
I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
He's
Maybe it wasn't a Scar. I think it was a Scar.
My favorite thing to do, I had 2 brilliant moments with Fi that I was like, this is fantastic. This is why I like limited play. One was I had a hand of 2 blues, 2 reds, and a red in Arsenal, and I needed just 1 red card to start the turn, and I would have had the best day of my life. And I was like, oh wait, I can pitch 3, get a Phoenix Flame, play it, and then come in with like 15 damage. So I did. And one of the attacks was like the one where it's like, if you've done this, pull a Phoenix Flame from graveyard. So I pulled another one out without Fi's ability and played it and had just a bonkers nutso gutso hand. It was awesome. But my other favorite thing to do is Phoenix Flame in hand. Play Phoenix Flame first for 0. Your opponent's just like, cool, no block. Instant Heat Wave.
Oh yeah.
Because then they sit there. Because then they sit there and go.
That's the one that gives +1 to the Phoenix Flames. So it's an
Yeah,
instant,
one.
or it has Quell, and it's an arm
Yeah.
equipment.
It's an
Oh,
arm
that
equipment for
thing.
Draconic Ninja. It gives +1 to Phoenix Flames for the turn, and it's an instant. So before damage hits,
Mhm.
instant, it's now 1, and you've passed your defense phase. And then they just go, I didn't calculate that coming. And
Right.
then
They either have to quell it or take it.
yeah. So it's either, are you gonna quell it now? And they're like,
That it's
no,
still
I've
only
already.
one, right? It's just
It's
one.
still, yeah, but it's one
All the
that they
difference.
weren't calculated on with their hand. Because then when I came in with other things, fetched another Phoenix Flame from graveyard with Fi's ability and played it, then they were like, that turn really set me back.
That chip
Because-
damage adds up.
Yeah, because when they expect me to do 7 damage in a turn, and the 7 has now turned into 9+, because I also had
Lava
just
Burst.
like great rupture cards.
That was your Lava Burst turn, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was my Lava Burst turn. It's like moments like that where they were like, yeah, that 2 extra damage from 2 different Phoenix Flames. They're like, that really changed how I look in my hand.
There was a
Because
match
it was
I had.
Phoenix.
Sorry, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say it was Phoenix, Pop Heat Wave, Ember, a 1 cost, like Searing Ember Blade, a 1 cost attack. You got your other Phoenix Flame, you played it, and then you came in with, it was your 5th Chain Link, I think was Lava
Fifth
Burst.
Chain Link was Lava Burst.
Yeah, it was nutty.
There's a match I had against another Phi on Saturday, and it got down to, I think I had 1 health and he had 2, and we were kind of going off the, like, we were just blocking out damage and like getting cards out of his hand, out of each other's hands, and we were kind of stalemated there. Well, then I went through and I played something. I drew a Phoenix Flame. Didn't have to get mine from graveyard yet. I'm like, okay, play this Phoenix Flame for 1. He's like, okay. He realized he was at 2. And that's coming in for 1. He's like, no blocks. I'm okay. Heat Wave. He's like, oh crap, now it's lethal. So he had to go back and pitch 2 cards to use Helios Miter.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay. And then I got on.
There's the game.
And then I was like, Phoenix Flame again.
Yeah, it's moments like that where it's just like, when you come at them with 0 and they're like, oh, they just needed to do this to activate like a Blaze Headlong or to get Searing Ember Blade go again, or just anything with Draconic Chain Links, they're like, 0 is nothing. Now it's 1. The next one's going to be 2. And then it's like the calculated, like, because basically your hand is like, if they bring 7 at me, how much can I do with my hand? I can do 10 back. It's a good balance. You're going to take the 7 to deal 10. But when suddenly the 7's now 10, your 10 doesn't seem that beneficial anymore. Especially when the 10 that I presented would have killed you.
So a couple of amazing cards, I think, the Phi had. Red Hot, I never drew when I played Phi. So the 2 times I played Icelander, I drew Red Hot. But I want to play Red Hot so bad. If it's played as Chain Link 4 or higher, when you attack with it, reveal the top X cards of your deck, where X is the number of Draconic Chain Links you control. Deal damage equal to the number of red cards revealed this way to any target, then shuffle.
The
only tricky thing is it's 2 costs.
Yeah.
It is 2 cost. I got one off on day 2. Revealed 5 cards. 3 hit.
Good lord.
Pretty good.
There was one I used up a guy's Quell because I had, what is that card? It's the Searing Touch. I think that's it. If it's played as Chain Link 4 or higher, it has, when you attack with it, deal 2 damage to any target. So I was at a point, I'm like, okay, this is going to be able to deal 5, go off. He can block the 3, and he's sitting there like, I can't take that 2. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna pitch to Quell it. I'm like, okay, now your Quell's gone. So that opened up a little bit more for me, and I think Quell. I know we're on Fi, but maybe if the I'm gonna say this too, like
It's most
equipment.
applicable playing against Fi, yeah.
I want you to finish this sentence about Quell because I need to know.
I think Quell is really interesting because you can use it as arcane barrier, you can use it as damage barrier, but it's one of those things like it's kind of bad form. I don't really want to say it's bad form, but if you use your equipment early on, you don't have it late game when you need it, or if you.
I just want you to give me. So are you saying Quell good or bad?
Okay, I'll say this point again, and you can respond to it.
No, it's a good or bad question. 86.
So, Quell, I
Is it
think,
good?
is a really interesting mechanic
That
because
didn't answer my question. 86.
you're gonna hear about it in a minute when I say this sentence.
Okay.
So, equipment we talked about, it might be known as bad form if you break it early on in the game. If you want to save it for on hits or dominate or to use up equipment just before like you really need it, because if you use it now, it won't be there later. Quell is kind of interesting because there are going to be spots late game where you're going to need that Quell, and once that Quell is gone, it's gone for that. Like you have it that turn that you decide to use it, and then it's out. So if you play something like that card I was just talking about that had Rupture, Searing Touch, was it? I forget the name of it.
Red Hot.
Red
Hot.
There's Red Hot and Searing Touch.
Searing Touch, I think it was.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the two.
Yeah,
They
Searing
both
Touch.
deal unblockable damage.
Yeah, or yeah, I guess actually Red Hot's applicable too. Like you don't have the Quell for that. You can't defend against it, so you need to save it for those points, because if you end up late game like, oh, well, 2 health could save me, but I don't have a way to stop that 2 damage. Well, you really need the Quell at that point. So the Quell adds an interesting dynamic because you can stop arcane, you can stop that surprise like ping damage. You can stop anything, but you can only do it for 1 turn.
But I think spending Quell earlier is not awful, because really late game, it's not so much as multiple instances that Quell allows you. It's one instance that you're like, this will kill me. And in that case, Helios Miter is actually the game saver or the game ender. Can you afford Helios and block out the damage that's going to kill you? Because you cannot Quell one instance. So if they're attacking you for 5 and you can only block 3, your Quell is useless there. It's not going to help you.
Yes, and that is a very important point as well. And then it all kind of depends on like what you draw, who you're up against, what can they do, what can you do about it. And Helios Miter is like the next 1 damage you would take, I think, for 2 resources. I don't think it can be 1 source and you can block all of it. Like turn 1,
Yeah.
like against Icelander, it's like, okay, I'm gonna draw everything back up anyway. Pitch 9.
If you pitched 6, you would block 3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Now answer my question.
Mm-hmm. I think Quell I don't know now. In a normal game, would I use Quell? I don't think I would use Quell in a constructed format at this moment.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
But I think that
it's really good limited.
I think it's good and limited.
Kayla.
Okay,
I'll
thank you.
answer your damn question.
Answer it. Is it good or bad?
I think it's good and limited, bad and CC. Well,
there we
verdict's
go.
out on CC.
You know what it's really good for? Aether Ashwings.
It is good.
5 block 5 Aether Ashwings.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, I was just waiting for you to end this with you were like, I don't think Quell's good at all, and then I was gonna slap you across the face virtually, because
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, after the set we just experienced, the Tales of Aria, where the only thing that would stop Arcane Barrier was a legendary equipment or a common equipment that would only block an instance of one time, and it was gone. They fixed that blunder they made, and they were like, we heard the people, and now here's this thing that is balanced in the set itself of Quell 1, and you can do it multiple instances a turn to separate sources, or Helios, where it's a pay 2 get 1, but it's balanced that way. If it was a pay 1 get 1,
went so far as to make Helios a token that you are guaranteed in every limited deck. So there is never
build without some mitigation.
During the Uprising pre-release, with Road to Nationals, I don't know that we'll see Helios.
I mean,
we
it
could.
specifically in the card text, it says you may put a token of this card in your deck for limited.
Yeah.
Just like you may put 3 of these Phoenix Flames in your deck in limited as tokens. Like, that's printed. That's pretty black and white.
So does that mean you can just bring it? Like, it doesn't matter if you have that?
It's a token.
I would absolutely bring it.
You're guaranteed it in your deck.
If I drafted Briar and a Tales of Aria sealed event and I didn't pull a Briar token, that doesn't mean I can't play Briar.
That's correct.
Or I don't have an Embodiment of Lightning token, and I can make embodiments of Lightning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that
Just
at all.
because I didn't pull the Helios Miter token from my 6 packs, I still
Because it
can
is
pull
part
that.
of the double-sided tokens. Like, it's not your equipment slot unless it's the cold foil version of it, or the rainbow foil version of it. It counts as a token.
But I think Quell is a great answer to limited with Arcane Barrier, because if you just block something out, like, oh, it's going to suck if I have 4 Arcane, I can just stop it all. But Quell adds that instance of, do I do it now? I mean, Icelander has something that if this hits, discard a card or pay 2.
I mean, but they not only did, because the way equipment works, they did the common equipments for each hero. Each one had an Arcane Barrier 1 on that equipment.
Right. The Ninja Legs had the Arcane 1. The
Ninja Legs had it.
Yeah.
The Illusionist.
Was it the hands?
I can't remember if it was the hands.
No, it was the Silent Stilettos.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It was always feet.
Yep. It was
for the
feet
whole
for all of them, I think. Each one
All
of those
had
came
AD.
with an Arcane Barrier, which you're like, is wonderful. I can't use Arcane Barrier for other things, so that kind of sucks. But then it's like, if you pulled all your packs and you're like, oh, I didn't get my Heat Wave for Phi, how am I going to stop Arcane? Oh, I got Quelling Slippers. There we go.
Yeah, so like the other thing with Quell, like I actually might run Heatwave and Phi going into a wizard, because most of their threat is when it's my turn. Like the wizards are most dangerous when I'm playing cards on the combat chain. I know that. So one of the things that I did was, while I am actively playing cards, I can quell incoming Arcane and then respond after they resolve by instanting and using its effect onto my Phoenix Flames. Now, I can't negate any more Arcane after that through the quell effect, but, you know, like, sequencing really matters in this case, and, like, it's a huge thing, but at the same time, I can use both effects for Heatwave in one turn. Obviously, that's situational, but it's, like, some of these quell cards are actually insanely good.
Yeah.
You just, it's matchup dependent and so on and so forth, but the fact that they went so far as to not just be like, oh yeah, it does quell. Like, there are specialized quell equipments that will probably see sideboarding, if not use, outside of limited.
I think the Illusionist hands are going to be a staple of Dromai. They're actually really good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because you'll quell and then, before your end phase, instant destroy.
Yep. Anything that you can double dip, like any card that lets you double, like Breeze Rider Boots is the ninja double dip, right? You can block with it for one and then still get everything go again. These quell cards that have an instant effect after you quell before your turn's over, that's awesome. Like, you get so much value out of that. And especially against like a Dak, a ninja, or a go wide hero. You best believe if I'm going up against a Katsu, I'm like, pitch a blue, quell your Kodachi, get wrecked, good luck with mask.
I think it's also like Tide Flippers, a lot of people are like, it's a worse Snapdragon. Like, yeah, but
AB1.
In an arcane matchup, I would much rather have both.
Oh yeah, I'm over here shaking my head like
one or the other.
Yep.
Like having like it's the Mexican food commercial, little girl of why not both?
¿Por qué no los dos? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, as a Benji player, like, the idea of having a spicier Snapdragons is super appealing, because I can also Oh, that blue snatch that's unblockable, it still works on that.
Yeah.
And like any of the Rushing River, like any of the 0-cost combo like starters, it works on that. Just like Snapdragons. Yeah, it doesn't work on the 1 cost, but like it's so much more versatile. And like against going into a Rune Blade, absolutely I'm gonna run it because AB1 is what I want. And then there's a break point where I don't care about the 1 or 2 AB that they're threatening. Yeah, like it's nutty. I think Fi and Commoner is going to be a monster because most of Fi's threat, yeah, there's some really spicy rare and majestics and whatever, but the threat of Fi is the ability to just build like a 5 combat link chain every turn.
With
and
ease.
You don't do that with only rares. You do that with commons and equipment and Phoenix Flames, and it's I'm super excited to actually like Fi is probably who I'm going to build Commoner of next.
It'll be good.
I think my overall verdict on this set as a limited format, if I was going to give it a grade, I would give it 2 thumbs up. I'd give it
That's not
thumbs.
how I thought you. When you said give it a grade, I was like, oh, he's gonna use like the American grading system.
I started to think about, when I said that, I started to think about the professor and like all of his videos. I'm like, oh, the channel's called The Classroom. That's going to really look like I'm trying to copy him. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. So
Now you
mid-thought.
doubted yourself. If you hadn't said anything, it would have been fine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, now that you've outed yourself, I won't say that I would give it a B+, but you know.
I was gonna say B+ actually. Let's go.
I think it was a
Like-
very interesting set. I will say that. Like, I think with Quill brought an interesting dynamic. I think the heroes and how they interacted, just based off of one weekend. Granted, we don't know what's going to happen in a couple months, but based off one weekend, I was pleasantly surprised with it.
Yeah. I also think that this set will be even more fun to draft, like we talked about.
Yeah.
I wanna
Playing
draft it.
sealed always gives you a bit of a bad taste in mouth to an extent because you're always going to have that matchup you're bad against in these style of sets. Like we can argue about it again, but like Fi's always going to struggle against Icelander. Dromai is always going to struggle against
Bye.
Fi.
It's very rock paper
And
scissors.
like, that rock paper, that Rochambeau, that rock paper scissors.
It's
But like in
Pokemon.
draft, it's gonna be even more fun because you'll be like, you know what? I know that I'm weak against Icelander as Fi, so I'm gonna start hate drafting this Hypothermia. I'm gonna start hate drafting this Wizard. Man,
Hate drafting is gonna be such a thing.
like I might not be taking a rare turn 1 or 2 in a draft. I might be like, yeah, no one's getting.
Especially as Phi, because you can be like, I don't need like 3 slots to take out 3 ice cards. I'll put Phoenix Flames there.
Legitimately, like I only have to
Excellent
draft
point.
27 cards.
I just watched a light bulb go on above
Never.
instead of.
Yeah, I
"Ugh."
never thought about that. That's actually
Yeah, like
really
there's
good.
there's 3 cards that I don't care about being in my deck, and those 3 cards are going to be hate drafts of probably some really choice things for other heroes.
That's
Red Ice Bolt, any rare or majestic that's nasty, and Ice Wizard, or even just like a special
You're not
dragon.
getting Hypothermia. You're not getting Frost Hex. Just say bye-bye.
Well, 'cause,
I
like,
believe I'll be taking you down.
So finishing up here, I will say my MVP for the weekend is I drew a Thaw, and that was definitely like, oh my gosh, it's so good. So good, just kill Icelander. I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk about fools, but it was so clutch. And that just really killed. I think 5 for me was really strong. And I think out of the 3, I definitely like to explore 5. I'm interested to play Dromai some more, or get to play Dromai. I actually, out of 34 packs, I do not have an adult Dromai. I never pulled one. So that is something interesting for CC.
Yeah. It sucks you didn't pull a token.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Sucks. 86.
Gotta stop the video now.
What about you guys?
didn't
Any
pull a token.
any final
No,
thoughts? Any final
That's
thoughts
crazy.
for
Let's go.
any final thoughts?
That's crazy. Tell me more about your pulls, 86, and how just bad they were.
All right.
I
Well,
want the camera to slowly pan in on me as I'm asking you. please explain to me how your pulls were the worst because you just didn't get a token you wanted.
I did get a. It's not this one. I did get a cold foil quelling slippers. That was my cold foil.
I'll find where you moved to. And I will burn your entire collection.
Anyway, so I guess
Yep.
last chance for anyone to say anything that they thought
I
about
like
the set.
Ocean Bro, it's fun. I like playing
Just
with
let-
my friends.
Just
I
let me
had a
draft.
good- I had a fun birthday party at Legend Story Studios. My birthday is the 28th. I still would really like some swag for my birthday. It'd be really cool.
We all want some swag for Kayla's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone wants swag for Kayla's birthday.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Any other final thoughts? All right, that's it. Oh, there's the cold foil quelling slippers I got. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk about this. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. See ya. This has been lots of people talking about Uprising. Yay.